Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Today's topic is 2021 goal ideas. Well, yeah, we're at the end of 2020 and it's been in general, kind of a rough year, kind of not that great. So hopefully 2021 will be a lot easier, a lot milder, a lot more of the nice things of life coming back. So, I think you might start out with the idea of 2021 is look back at what you were going to do in 2020, because a lot of us, the things we wanted to do in 2020 were like taken away, and you may be able to just use what you wanted to do last year. Right? Because you couldn't do those things for reasons beyond your control. Take a look at that 2020, and this is why I'm always suggesting you keep the information that you develop in writing kind of forever. You can summarize it and condense it and make it fit in a smaller place, but I wouldn't throw that out. I'm ruthless with throwing things out, but I don't throw out the insights that I write about myself, that I know that I at the time think it's going to make me happy. And I'm always looking back. So in this case, look back to what you were thinking about the end of 2019, early 2020, and see if maybe this is the time that makes sense for you. Maybe you won't. And this is where the deep thinking, the reflection, the planning, the sitting and thinking for hours, it comes in. Because, sometimes what you thought one year would be really great, you didn't get that done. Years down the road, you think, kind of glad I didn't bother with that. Kind of glad I didn't, right? I know at one time I wanted to be at a very high position in an engineering organization, and thinking about that now, it just I don't know. It doesn't appeal to me. I know what it takes, what the people have to be to do those types, and I have a lot more fun, interesting life where I'm at than going up to the peak. So I'm glad I kind of discarded that goal. So that's another thing is, it sometimes is easier to discard ideas and goals, to say, it just doesn't make sense for me to do that. It just doesn't make sense. I don't want to do that. You got to think, if I would get that, if I would achieve that goal, would it make my life better? Would it? How would it make my life better? Would they have to give up something else? See, the thinking about your life with enough time, consistent time and energy, is where you come up with the insights of what exactly makes you, what makes you happy, what would make your life better if you started doing, and what would make your life better if you stopped doing. So, which brings me to maybe my third one is, instead of thinking about what else you're going to do in 2021, think of what else you could stop doing in 2021. What could you stop doing that would make your life better? Okay? It isn't always about the adding. You cannot just continually add to your life without it multiplying the complexity and the frustrations and the problems and the issues. Some healthy subtraction and division is in order sometimes. So that's another idea of how you might start thinking of 2021. What could you stop doing that could really improve your life if you didn't have to do this anymore? If you quit something, how would it improve your life? Another way to think about the goals for the 2021 would be to try to go deeper. Deeper meaning, what if I accomplish this goal, would it more or less solve a bunch of other things too? If I was able to quit doing this, would that help me do these other things, right? If I got good at X, would it automatically take care of, W, X, Y, and Z? You see what I mean? Sometimes the deeper the goal, meaning a bigger goal, would it help that? So, like the classic example is to lose weight. Well, that's a big goal, right? And then if you lose a fair amount of weight, a lot of times other health problems that you were suffering with will fix themselves automatically, right? Your hips won't hurt, your knees won't hurt, your feet won't hurt so much, your blood pressure goes down, that type of thing, where you do something big and it accomplishes other smaller goals that you probably needed to focus on too. It's kind of like, if you have a health problem, the underlying issue is you probably eat way too much sugar, and if you would stop doing that, you would probably solve all kinds of other things along the way. Another one is you might have these financial goals. You want to pay off these credit cards, you want to do this, you want to build your retirement, you want to buy a house, you want to get a new car. Well, all of those are like a lack of income problems. So the big goal would be to increase your income, so you can easily pay for all those things that you need to improve your life. The big goals, it's really what you should be focusing on most of the time, is taking care of these big goals. And you can tell they're big because they're either going to cost a lot of money or they're going to require a lot of effort on your part. And that's big, big. I like to kind of reflect back on the goals I had in 2019, not 2020, 2019. I wanted to finish a book. I wanted to fix my teeth. I wanted to get a new job. I wanted to move, and I wanted to help my daughter transition so we weren't living together anymore. So those were 5 big goals, and getting the new job, that allowed me to move, and that allowed me, it was a natural time for me to transition, my daughter and I to transition away. She was growing up, to not have her dad be there all the time, taking care of things, okay? And the book was a goal, and the book was a goal because I needed to write it to explain things and help other men, because part of my goals is to help other men, and I have this YouTube channel and the ahappierman.com website. But yeah, and then what else? My teeth. Well, you can see I'm smiling and happy all the time in these videos because I had my some very, very expensive dental work done, and that's where it may be your goal this year. It may be you need to spend a ton of money on an aspect of your life that's really bothering you. So with my teeth, that was an aspect of my life that was really bothering me. It just bothered me to no end, and it bothered me for years. And I finally, was able to get in a position to do something about it. And you may have that, right? it can be something with your looks, right? My teeth it was about the looks. I didn't like how I looked because I was missing the teeth in the wrong place, right? You could be something about your hair, something about your skin, your weight, your eyes, maybe you need plastic surgery. You see what I mean? How you feel about yourself is very, very important, and you may need to spend considerable money fixing an issue for yourself. It could be you need new clothes, and you need to spend money buying proper clothes. Okay, you have to understand that sometimes you need to spend a lot of money to make your life good. As much as somebody would say you don't, it's foolish to think so. It could be the money you need to spend is you need a new vehicle, or a much better vehicle than you had. My goal back in 2013 was this truck, and I've been driving this truck ever since. But up until 2013, for all that time in my previous life, I really never had a great car. I mean, I did have a good car in the 90s when I bought a newer Honda Accord. But let's say from the late 90s through 2013, probably about 15 years, I mostly drove junk cars. And even before the Honda, I was driving junk cars. So let's say up until 2013, the bulk of my life was spent driving junk cars that were terrible in the winter, on the ice and the snow. They were too small for me to fit comfortably. A lot of times they didn't even have air conditioning. They were breaking down, and it may be that you have something similar, that you can't trust your car to get you from A to Z. You don't want to take a traveling trip and see things because you're not thinking your car won't get you there and back, right? There's so much to see. The traveling trips are so gloriously delightful, so much fun. Just getting out and about doing what you want with your own vehicle, that's still, to me, it's still one of the most important factors in life. And yeah, I use the Uber and I take the bus downtown and that kind of stuff. But let's just say driving a great vehicle that's suitable for you, that could be a goal for you. That could be, and if you accomplish that goal, because it will take tons of money, you got to get approved for a loan, probably. You got to deal with all the extra cost involved with it. You got to figure out the time. There'll be time involved in figuring out which type of vehicle. But if you think about your frustrations, it may be that you need a new vehicle. Like the frustrations I had with the vehicle was I never had a four-wheel drive, so the winters were just unbearably irritating at a minimum and terrifying at a maximum. I never had a car, I never had a good-looking vehicle that looked good. That was embarrassing. I never had one that I've had ones that just stopped working, and I have no reason, that I didn't know why they started working. So I had all this list of frustrations based upon these junk vehicles that was solved with a great vehicle. So yeah, you might need to spend a bunch of money on a vehicle, and I would make that could be a big goal you accomplish in 2021. And then if you do that, all your other little problems are just going to go away, except for paying for it, right? But you won't have any fears, you won't have any worries related to your vehicle, Okay, so yeah, you might have to spend a bunch of money. Finances, yeah, well, yeah, if you may already be in debt, and it would make the most sense for you to chop down that debt and get it under control, so your monthly amount is smaller, and you get yourself, your finances back into balance. Yeah, as a married man with a non-working wife who loved to spend money, yeah, my finances were like just totally out of control all those years of my marriage. The divorce was crippling. Even afterwards, I finally got out of the child support. But even then, because I had no money for like 20 some odd years, that's a lot of deferred maintenance and a lot of deferred things I wanted to do. So I developed my own debt from that, right? But the goals, go deep. What big things could you do this year that will really uplift your life? I know I'm pretty sure I've got mine figured out, and I've got a lot of little goals listed, but these little goals are probably just things I'd like to do. They don't really take tons of effort and time, and but the big goals, yeah. So probably pick out 1 or 2 big goals, and I would call them preliminary. I would call them preliminary 2021 goals. Write them down in a place that you have, and then you kind of reflect and think and go over those and refine them and see, over the next few weeks whether that's really the thing that makes the most sense, and then get busy doing it. All for now.